Arkham Horror, the card game, the Dunwich legacy. Scenario 2, the Miskatonic Museum. Several months ago, Armitage and his colleagues stopped a rampaging horror from tearing through Dunwich, a backwater town several hours north and west of Arkham. At first, you imagine this beast as a rabid bear or worse, but the professor's description of the creature paints a different picture. It all began when a man named Wilbur Whately entered the Orne Library looking for Olaus Wormus's Latin translation of a book called the Necronomicon. Wilbur already possessed a beaten-up English translation by Dr. John Dee, but it was insufficient for his purposes. Armitage turned the man away, fearing what use the strange man had for the book. Whately returned in secret, hoping to steal the book, but was attacked by a hound guarding the university. Armitage, Rice, and Morgan later discovered Whately's body. A description of the foul corpse, semi-anthropomorphic and covered in fur, with a leathery hide and greenish-gray tentacles, causes you to question whether or not Whately was truly human. Check campaign log. If Dr. Henry Armitage was kidnapped, proceed to part 1. If the investigators rescued Dr. Henry Armitage, which we did, skip to part 2. My colleagues and I were quick to put the ordeal behind us, Armitage says with a sigh. But it seems that things haven't fully resolved themselves. I'll tell you the rest later. But for now, it is imperative that we get our hands on that copy of the Necronomicon. If my instincts are correct, the assailants you've encountered will be searching for it. After all that transpired, I didn't feel safe keeping it at the library, so I brought it to my good friend, Harold Walsted. He is the current curator of the Miskatonic Museum. I thought it'd be safe in the museum's restricted hall, but now I'm not so sure. You must retrieve it at all costs. I fear terribly what they could do with the rights contained in its pages. Okay, so Scenario 2, the Miskatonic Museum. I've taken pretty much the encounter deck and put it to the side. It really wasn't necessary for it to be on the board. Same with my deck. I'm going to keep that to the side as well. So I just felt it would be, I just thought it would be necessary to, do that. So we'll keep, so it gives me a little bit more room on the board for such. So I thought I'd go ahead and just take them off the board. At least keep these up here so we can see. So we're playing the easy version of the Miskatonic Museum. This is the second scenario. You can lurk there, Phoenix. Good to have you. This is the second scenario of the Dunwich legacy. So let's see what we got to do here. So we're at the museum entrance. So Act 1A, actually you got to put the agenda over here. So Agenda 1A, restricted access. Dr. Armitage has given the university's Latin translation of the Necronomicon to his associate, Harold Walsted, the curator of the Miskatonic University Museum. Worried that someone might still be after the book, you have gone to the museum to recover it. Forced. When hunting horror enters play, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawn to it, or add one resource to Shadow Spawn if it's already attached. So now we do Act 1A, finding a way inside. Unfortunately, the entrance to the museum is kept locked at this late hour. A security guard is visible through the building's front windows, oblivious to his surroundings. Perhaps you can find a way to get his attention and convince him to let you in. And there are 2 clues we need here. So we're going to use Jim Culver once again. And let's draw our 5 cards first. And see what we get here. So we want assets and allies. Final Rhapsody can go away. We don't need that. Get rid of the event. Get rid of the event. I'll keep shriveling in the Arcane Initiative. We'll get rid of these. And we'll draw 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And let's see. And we get Hypnotic Gaze. Oh, no, we already took those. What's that here? Lissogram, Manual Dexterity, and Emergency Cash. I'll take those. So these go back into the deck. And we'll shuffle. All right. So we start with Alyssa Graham. It's always good to have an ally with her. Manual Dexterity, Emergency Cash, Shriveling, and Arcade Ignition. I now have both the level 3 versions of Shriveling, which is good to have. All right, so we're at the museum entrance. We'll start here. The Miskatonic Museum is an opulent and stately building, supported by expeditions funded by the university. Its sizable collection of exotic artifacts, curios, and art has drawn visitors from all over the country. There are two clues. On there. Investigators at the museum entrance cannot gain resources. Resign. How important can a book really be anyway? As you approach the museum, you draw your coat tighter around your body to keep the wintry air away. The full moon drapes the building in ominous bright moonlight. All right, so we got two clues we got to get at the museum entrance. And let's see what we're going to do here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to play Emergency Cash and gain 3 resources. So that'll be 8. Second act, we're going to put out Alyssa Graham as an ally. She's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which gives us +1 to investigate. And let's see. Exhaust Alyssa Graham. Look at the top card of either the encounter deck or any player deck. You may then add 1 doom to Alyssa Graham to place the look back card on the bottom of its deck. I'm pretty much really bringing her along for as an ally. And the third we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put out Shriveling, which is a nice little help there. So let's put these here for now. It gets 4 charges. On Shriveling. I'm not going to do anything on this turn, really. All right. So we're not going to do anything on this first turn. Okay. All right. So no enemies. We will reset our actions. Draw a card. Getting another manual dexterity, and we'll get a resource. All right, so Doom goes on the phase. Eliminate the agenda, draw a card, and we get Locked Door attached to the location with the most clues, and without a locked door attached. The attached location cannot be investigated. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. That's in the museum entrance. Test for strength to break down the door or for agility to pick the locks. If you succeed, discard Locked Door. So that goes already on the museum entrance. Interesting for that to be. So I guess there's a locked door before I get to the locked door. Okay. All right. So fine, be that way. Let's see what we're gonna do here. All right. So I got to get through that first. So I got 3 strength, but I really don't want to use Shriveling to break down a door. So we're going to try to do agility on it. So our first is going to be, we're going to use 2 agility. We're trying to pick the lock. So 2 is 4 for manual dexterity. Max 1 can be a skill test. So that's going to be 4 on 4. We fail. We'll try again. Another manual dexterity. 4 on 4. We succeed, and we get a card. So when we get blinding light, so the locked door goes away. Locked door goes away. And let's see. So for our third act, we'll investigate. So he has a 3 on 3, but Alyssa Graham gives us a +1. So a 4 on 3 to investigate. That succeeds. You get a clue. And I'm not going to exhaust her. We're just going to keep her. I'm not going to exhaust her. And that's going to end the turn for Culver. So that stunk a little bit, but all right, fine. No enemies, reset, draw a card. Getting Jim's Trumpet. I haven't had that yet. And we gain a resource. Okay. Doom, restricted access. We'll draw a card, getting Slithering Behind You. If Hunting Horror is in play, add 1 Doom to it. If Hunting Horror is not in play, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and the void for Hunting Horror and spawn it at your location. Engage with you. Shuffle the encounter deck. Well, we already know it's not on the locked door, so I can just search the encounter deck for the Hunting Horror, which I know is which is really the only enemy I got to deal with really the only enemy I got to deal with this. When Hunting Horror interplays, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawned into it, which is here. So or add 1 resource to Shadow Spawn. So Shadow Spawn. So Hunting Horror engages with Culver. Hunter, retaliate. At the start of the enemy phase, reveal a random token of the Chaos Bag. If the revealed token has a symbol on it, ready Hunting Horror. When Hunting Horror leaves play, place it in the void. David Vega joins us here. Shadow Spawn remains attached to Hunting Horror if it enters the void. Hunting Horror gets +1 fight, +1 health, and +1 evade for each resource on Shadow Spawn. If there are at least 3 resources on Shadow Spawn, Hunting Horror also gains massive. That's nasty. But right now, Hunting Horror is pretty weak at this moment. All right, so Hunting Horror has engaged with me here. So, All right. So let's go ahead and all right. So Hunting Horror is engaged with me. Only does a 2. So let's see. So it's our turn. I obviously have to attack it. So it does a where's my thing here? So it says here. So it does a 2. We do a 3 on a 2. I use shriveling. That gets me +2 and deal a +1 damage for the attack. So it's 3 on 2. And all right. So we got to use it. So 3 on 2. Shriveling. We'll use 1 charge for shriveling. This attack uses willpower. Oh, that's right. It uses willpower instead of that. You get +2 willpower and deal +1 damage for this attack. So actually, that's a 4. +2 is a 6. So that's going to be a 6 on 2. And we get the automatic fail. And that's got retaliate. So that does 1 and 1. Of course, I get the automatic fail on that. I've got retaliate, so it does 1 and 1 damage. And also, I got to take another horror because he also take a horror if that's reveal, which it was. All right, second, I'm going to do it again. Here. So again, 4 + 2 is 6. And this time we do the 2 damage to it. Can only got to do 3. And I could have put maybe a horror on Alyssa Graham. Let's see. And for the third act, I have to go after it again. So let's do shriveling again. I want to make sure I kill this thing. So again, so this is really the only enemy I really got to worry about is this thing. So 4 + 2 is 6. So again, 6 on 2, and I get that. And -3. If you fail, discard an asset you control. We still win though. 6 - 3 is 3/2, and we get rid of it. So it goes into the void for now. here. Put that into the void. So we got that. So we get rid of it. So far, I'm still stuck at the museum entrance. All right. Okay, so no enemy phase. We set the actions. Draw a card, getting 45 automatic. And I've been gaining resources. I'm not supposed to get resources. I'm at the museum entrance. Investigators museum entrance cannot gain resources. So, but that does not include with emergency cash. So we keep the 2. So we keep the 1. So we go back to 1. But I get the card at least. All right. So that we reset. We gain a card, getting a 45 automatic, which I'm going to have to put out. So let's unless Phoenix, I know you're lurking, but investigators at the museum entrance cannot gain resources. Does that include emergency cash? You think that would include emergency cash? What do you think? Because if that's the case, then I'm going to start this over real fast. So I got emergency cash, which says gain resources, but at museum entrance, you can't gain resources. You were just thinking about emergency cash, and you think it would. What, allow me to gain or not allow me to gain? Before I go too far in this, let me know, because if I did, I'm going to not allow you to gain. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to restart. We're going to restart the scenario real fast, and it doesn't take long to do that. I'm going to restart. Let's restart. So, that, put that there, and not a problem. And we'll stay at the museum entrance. Let's reshuffle. Let's restart. We can do that. Let's try again. The red piece is where my investigator is. So the red pawn is where he is located at there, David. Let's reshuffle the counter deck. I don't have to reshuffle the museum hall, so I can keep that as it is. Yeah, Jim Culver. You want to offer a suggestion about the resources on Shadow Spawn? Go right ahead. If I didn't want anybody want me to play or watch me play the game or something like that, I wouldn't be doing this live. So go ahead. Give me a suggestion there. Do it. All right. So let's start again. So once again, let's start again. We'll restart. So 5 resources start with. Rather than stacking up the resources, use a die to count the resources. That way you're not moving nearly as many tokens in and out of the void. That's not bad. You're not sure what are the resources. These are the resources. These are resources that you have to use in order to in order to get cards. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, here's a machete, and that uses 3 resources. So if I want to put this out, I have to spend 3 resources to put this into my play area, which the machete is actually something good to have. So we're going to keep that. I'll keep the arcane initiative. I really don't want the skills. I want assets and allies. So I'll skip that. And we'll draw 3 more. Getting paranoia, which goes back into the deck automatically because we don't keep that. Arcane initiate and manual dexterity. So we draw another card. And the other manual dexterity. So we have these things. And these go back in there. We don't start with the weaknesses. Okay, let's start again. We didn't really go that far, so we can start again. Okay, so once again, 2 clues on the museum entrance. And first action, we're going to put out I'm going to use 3 resources to put out the machete, which is a very useful weapon. Machete is one of the best. I think the machete is one of the best melee weapons in the game. For the next one, we're going to put out Arcane Initiative for an ally. I can get a spell card or something like that, and we'll keep the other 3. We'll keep the others, and we'll go ahead and investigate. So it's going to be 3-on-3 this time. So we get 3 investigations. So 3-on-3, succeed, get a clue. All right. So not too bad. I think maybe there was a better way to do it. Okay, so reset actions, no resources, but we do draw a card, getting overpower. Put a doom on the agenda. Okay. And we draw a card. And once again, it shows up. Slithering behind you. If hunting horror is in play, add 1. If hunting horror is not in play, search the encounter deck, discard pile in the void for hunting horror, and spawn it to location engage with you. This thing doesn't want to go away. All right. So once again, hunting horror shows up into play. No problem there, Phoenix Knight. So hunting horror, spawn from the void. And shadow spawn there, remains attached. So I got to kill this thing again. All right, but no problem. We have the machete. So let's see. Oh, I got to put a doom on the Arcane Initiative. All right. So got to attack it. So it does a 2, do a 3. Machete plus 1 is 4. And it's the only enemy engaged with it, which I am. So it's good. This is going to be a 4-on-2. We succeed. It does 2 damage on the horror. Second action, we'll do the same thing with the machete, plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. It does an extra damage. It's the only enemy I'm engaged with, which it is. So that, again, is going to be a 4-on-2. That succeeds, and we kill it just like that. We'll send it back to the void. So hunting horror goes back to the void. Now, third act, we're going to investigate the museum entrance. So 3, and we're going to do 3-on-3, and just misses. We're going to exhaust Arcane Initiative, which search the top 3 cards of your deck for a spell card and draw it. And I have no spell card. No spell card. Shuffle your deck. Shuffle your deck. No spell card, so we reshuffle. All right, so reset. Still can't get a resource, but I can draw a card. I thought I got rid of this. Paranoia. Discard all your resources. Well, I only had 1, so paranoia goes away. Discard all your resources. Okay. I only had 1. All right, so can't get resources. You're still stuck at the museum entrance. All right, so a doom goes on there, and we will draw a card, getting Twist of Fate. Reveal a random token from the chaos bag, and we get that. If you reveal any of those symbols, which we did, take 2 horror. Well, that's going to go on Arcane Initiate. She's going to disappear. She didn't really help matters much. The 2 horror goes on Arcane Initiate, and she's eliminated. So put the 2 horror on her, and that's it. All right, so at least there's no enemies. Okay, so our turn here. Now it's back to still stuck at restricted access. I got to get one more clue. And we're going to use... So I have to have 3 on 3. That Arcane Initiate ran away at a slightly dark museum entrance. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She ran away. So I got 3 chances to get the final clue. So it is 3 on 3. That is a skull -1, -3 instead of hunting horrors at your location. However, we're going to succeed because Jim Culver treats that symbol tokens as a 0. So that is actually a success. We're going to get a clue. Another reason why I chose Jim Culver. So Culver gets the clue. And because it is a 0, so that works good. So that was our first action. We'll spend the clues and move on immediately because I got to get in there. If the investigator spent clues to advance, you find the window nearest to the guard and tap it loud enough to get his attention. He gives a startled jump, then shifts open the window. "What do you want?" he asks timidly. Actually, it's timidly, so it would be, "What do you want?" he asks timidly. You explain the situation to him and tell him he is in grave danger. He warily opens the front door to the museum, shaking his head. "I wasn't even supposed to be here today." Choose an investigator to take control of the set-aside Adam Lynch asset. Reveal the museum halls. Advance to Act 2A, Night at the Museum. So let's so we'll go ahead and advance to Act 2A, Night at the Museum, and we get Adam Lynch, security guard. While you control Adam, what is this? His first day at Arkham. Adam Lynch, museum security. While you control Adam Lynch, treat the 2 action ability on the security office as if it were a 1 action ability. Forced. When Adam Lynch leaves play, remove him from the game and add 1 tablet token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. All right, so really got to try to keep this guy around if possible. But yeah. All right, so that was our first act. So we have Adam Lynch now as a help, but we'll see. So our second act. So second action will move. Oh wait, so Act 2A, not a museum. The Necronomicon is being kept in a restricted hall somewhere in the museum. Adam barely knows his way around and gives a startled jump at every creak of the old building. "I just started here last week," he explains. "What sort of trouble did you say was going on?" You haven't the heart to give him the full story. If an investigator enters the exhibit hall, restricted hall, advance. All right. So let's first go ahead and move into. Let's go ahead. So I guess let's move into the. So what do I do here? Okay, so wait a minute. So I think I got to move. Let me go back here. So hold on a minute. So I did it by spending clues. So reveal the museum halls, which is this. So I did not do that. Okay, so reveal the museum halls, which is here. And that's where we're at right now, right? So now, that's what we reveal. It doesn't move there yet. Okay, so now we're there. So museum halls. Museum halls is connected to each copy of exhibit hall. Investigators in museum hall spend 1 clue as a group. Put the top card of the exhibit deck into play unrevealed. All right. So our second act, we move into the museum halls. That's our second act. There are no clues. So but I have no clues. So what's going to happen here? So I got no clues. Investigators, museum hall, spend a clue, glues a group, put the top card of the exhibit deck into play unrevealed. I have the exhibit deck right over here. It is random. They're randomized. So spend one clue as a group. So actually, I really shouldn't move in the museum. In the museum halls, I should move in the security office. So let's backtrack. Instead of moving the museum halls, let's move into this. Well, let's move into the. Let's move into. Well, can I move into security office? Let's see. Interesting setup how they did this. I guess I can here. So I guess I can move into the security office. Can I? Or do I have to move in the administration office? From the museum halls, but yes. Okay, so I'm in the museum halls. So that was the best act. So now I can move into. So now I move into the security office. So we move into the. Because I have no clues. So I have no clues. So I can't put anything down. So we have to move into. We have to move in the security office. So our third act is the security office. A plaque next to this doorway reads "Security." The door is ajar, and inside you catch the scent of blood. Look at the revealed side of an exhibit hall in play or the top card of the exhibit deck. Living once per term. Somebody must have left the security office in a hurry. Blood stains the floor under the desk nearby. There are some maps of the museum in here as well. Okay, so all right, so we're now in the security office. That was our final movement. So right, there are two clues there. All right. So no enemies, so reset actions. We finally get a resource, draw a card, and we get Moonlight Ritual. Okay, so finally gained a resource, about time. All right. This phase, put a doom on the agenda. We're already at 3. And draw a card. Another locked door. Attach a location with the most clues without a locked door attached. The attached location cannot be investigated. Terrific. Another locked door. You would think that I have. You would think that I have Adam Lynch. I should be able to get in there, but no. All right. So. Okay. All right. So I gotta get rid of the locked door. So we'll do. So I gotta get rid of the locked door first. So we'll utilize manual dexterity. So 2 plus 2 is 4 to get rid of the locked door, to pick the locks. So 4 on 4, fail. Do it again, 4 on 4, fail. And now I'm going to try overpower. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So I'm going to try to break the freaking thing down. So 5 on 4. And that will succeed. Draw a card. Getting emergency cash. That's helpful. So we get rid of the locked door. But that will took all my actions to get that. All right. So no enemies. Reset. Draw a card. Getting a 45 automatic. And resource. All right. Not doing so good here. Fourth doom. Draw a card. Passage into the Veil. Test 3 willpower. This test is +2 difficulty if hunting horror is at your location. If you fail, you must either choose 1, discard the top 5 cards of your deck, or take 1 direct damage and deal 1 damage to each of your ally assets. So I have to test willpower. So I have to test willpower for passage into the veil. But the hunting horror is not there. So it's a 3 and a 4. And I'm going to use the Arcane Initiative, which is a 5. So 5 over 3. Succeed. We don't have to worry about it. All right. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to gain some resources. We're going to do emergency cash, gain 3 resources. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to use 4 to put out the 45 automatic. So I can shoot this thing. And we're going to go ahead and investigate. So 3 over 3. I'm going to use the Moonlight Ritual, which will make it a 4. So 4 over 3, and we succeed. We get a clue. All right, so that wasn't too bad. So we're still at the security office. All right, so reset. So that was a 3. So reset the actions. Draw a card, getting another emergency cash, and gain resource. So 5 Doom now unrestricted access. So this didn't last long. That was not good. So 5 Doom. So advance the agenda. From the shadows of the museum halls, a terrible creature slithers forth, long and serpentine, propelled by black leathery wings. If hunting horror is in play, add 1 Doom to it. If hunting horror is not in play, search the encounter deck, discard pile in the void for hunting horror and spawn it in the museum halls if able. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So the hunting horror is back, and that is in the museum halls. It is in the museum halls. And this gets reshuffled back into the encounter deck because of course it does. All right, agenda. I got the wrong act. I got the act over here. So agenda 2A, Shadows Deepen. You could be shuffling 3 copies of Ancient Evils in the deck. Lucky for me, Ancient Evils is not in this encounter deck. Agenda 2A, Shadows Deepen. The shadows in the museum grow and become darker as the shadows lengthen and shift. They begin to suggest the sinewy body of an uncanny creature darting at the periphery of your awareness. Forced. When hunting horror enters play, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawn to it, or add 1 resource to Shadow Spawn if it is already attached. It was already attached. That's when forced. So when hunting horror enters play, so we already know it's already there. So that doesn't occur. It doesn't work on that. All right. So I'm in the security office. Hunting horror is a hunter, and it's at the museum halls. So it is 1 away from me. So let's investigate the security office. So investigate the security office, and so investigate the security office. So it's 3 on 3. So 3 on 3, and that's a failure. If you fail, discard an asset you control. That hurts. -3. If you fail, discard an asset you control. So what we get rid of, the machete or the automatic? I think we get rid of the automatic because the machete will still do the 2 damage no matter what. So the automatic goes away. All right. So that was the first act. Second action. Again, 3 on 3. This one succeeds. It's -1, but he treats it as a 0. The hunting horror is not at my location. Even if it was, it would still be a 0. So we get the final clue. And for the third act, I'm going to spend the emergency cash and get 3 resources. Back to 5. All right, we're going to stay in the security office. Okay, so the enemy. Okay, so that's that. The enemy, the hunting horror, does move to security office location. So now it engages with me. So it hunts. It does not attack. It had to hunt first. So it's I'm now engaged with the horror. All right. So reset. Draw a card. Getting drawn to the flame. That's nice to have. And get a resource. Okay, so Doom on the agenda. Draw encounter card. Pushed into beyond. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset you control into your deck and discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2 horror. Asset you control into your deck. Well, there goes the machete. I don't want to get rid of that. Well, you know what? No, it's got to be the machete because Adam Lynch is a story asset. It's got to be the machete. So that goes away into the deck because Adam Lynch is a story asset, so he cannot go. All right. So discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2 horror. 1, 2. Nope. I lost the flashlight. That hurts. Okay. All right. Investigation phase. I gotta fight the horror without the friggin' machete. Yeah, I lost the machete. Yep. I lost the machete. Lost the machete. All right, so it's 3 on 2 to get it, and now I don't do any extra damage. So 3 on 2 on the horror for the first act. That succeeds. 3 on 2, second act. That succeeds. And 3 on 2, third act. And that succeeds. So it took all 3 to kill it and get rid of it for now. The hunting horror goes away. But I couldn't do anything. All right, so no enemies. Reset. Draw a card, getting sneak attack. And get a resource. Doom on the agenda. Draw a card. Beyond the Veil. Put Beyond the Veil into play in your threat area if there is no copy of Beyond the Veil in your threat area. If your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage and discard Beyond the Veil. So I have Beyond the Veil. That just stays in the threat. So I'll just put that there for now. And it gains Surge, so I have to draw another. Well, if I think I already have it. Right. Put the Veil, play in your threat area, no government into play in your threat area if there is no copy of Beyond the Veil. Do I still draw that? I know it says Surge. Do I draw another card? Or is that only Surge if I already have the card? Phoenix, if you're there. We draw another copy of Beyond the Veil. Surge is the very first thing on the card, so it is surge regardless. So we draw another there. Visions of Futures Past. Test 5 willpower. For each point you fail by, discard the top card of your deck. 5 willpower, he has 4. And we're going to just do it here. So it's 4 against 5. And it's that's an auto fail. So I lose 5 cards from the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Auto fail token hitting me hard today. All right. So now it's our turn here. So I got to move. So thing about it is I'm in the security office, and I can have Adam Lynch help me look at the top card of the exhibit deck. Let's bring these cards a little bit over further here. I really don't know if I need to keep the museum entrance, but I guess this is what sucks when I don't have enough room to play. All right, so security office, look at the field side. Well, let's move into museum halls. That's the first act. Second act, investigators museum hall spend 1 clue as a group, put the top card of the exhibit deck into play and reveal. So I actually got to do 2 clues, which I'm going to do, and put in 2 exhibit halls. Unrevealed. All right. So that is that. So we have the exhibit halls. So let's no enemies. So let's reset. Draw a card. Getting Dr. Henry Armitage. He could help. Dr. Henry Armitage. He joins us here. Gain resource. And resource. And that's it. All right. Doom on the agenda. Draw a card. Stalked in the Dark. Revelation of hunting horrors in play. It readies, engages you, and attacks each investigator at your location. Otherwise, Stalked in the Dark gains Surge. So it's a Surge. Passage in the Veil. Test 3 willpower. This test is +2 difficulty of hunting horrors at your location. If you fail, you must either discard the top 5 cards of your deck or take 1 direct damage and deal 1 damage to each of your ally assets. So again, I got a test 3 willpower, and I have a 4. And we're going to do that. So 4 over 3. And of course, we fail. And I just got to discard an asset I control. So Adam Lynch is gone. So now I got to add so when Adam Lynch leaves play, remove him from the game and add 1 tablet token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. So he could not make it. He's gone. And also discard the top 5 cards of your deck or take 1 direct damage and deal 1 damage to each of your allies. So I take 1 direct damage and he takes a damage and he's gone. All right. I don't have to lose the 3 cards. All right. So I got to add a chaos. I got to add that token now to it. Chaos bag, edit, Adam Lynch, continue. Back to that. All right, so that's it. And so we go back here, just not doing too well tonight. So still in museum halls, this is no enemies. If your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage and discard Beyond the Veil. I'm getting a little low here. 10 damage will kill him. We'll defeat him. All right, so first act, we'll move into this exhibit hall. What alluring artifacts are deployed inside? Do they too hold a sinister secret? The Athabascan exhibit. Forced, if you enter this location, lose all of your remaining actions and immediately end your turn. While you're in this location, you gain +2 agility. There's no clues, though. So all my remaining actions are gone, immediately end the turn. All right, wonderful. So lose all your remaining actions and immediately end your turn. While you're in this location, you gain +2 agility. Okay, so no more actions. No more actions from me. There are no enemies. We do draw a card, getting hypnotic gaze, and another resource. All right, so okay, so no enemies. Upkeep is done. We go to the Mythos phase, place another Doom on the agenda. And draw a counter card. Terror from Beyond, Peril. Choose one of the following card types: asset, event, or skill. Each player must discard each card in his or her hand that is of the chosen card type. If this is not the first copy of Terror from Beyond drawn this phase, choose 2 card types instead. Each player must discard each card in his or her hand that is of the chosen card type. If this is not the first copy, choose 2 cards. This is the first copy I'm using this of Terror from Beyond. So I got to choose one, either an asset, an event, or a skill. I'm going to get rid of Sneak Attack. It's an asset. Get rid of that. And that will be it. Okay. All right. So, first action. I'm going to put out Dr. Henry Armitage. There's 2 resources there. And the second act, move back to museum halls. Third act, move into the other exhibit hall. The Medusa exhibit. Forced, after you fail a skill test while investigating this location, discard an asset you control. There's 1 clue there. All right, so we're now in the Medusa exhibit hall. All right, so if you draw a non-weakness card, discard that card and exhaust Dr. Henry Armitage, gain 3 resources. Armitage knew he'd be meddling with terrible powers, yet saw that there was no other way to annul the deeper and more malign meddling which others had done before him. H.P. Lovecraft, The Dunwich Horror, and that was another one of my favorite stories from him. I read that, of course. All right, so no enemies. Reset. Draw a card. Getting Shriveling. Nice to have. And gain resource. Okay, so Mythos phase. 5 Doom now on Shadows Deepen. Counter card. Again, Terror from Beyond. If this is not wow, I get this again. If this is not the first copy, choose 2 card types instead. Discard each card in his hand of 2 card types instead. So 1 asset and 1 event. That stinks because I just got Shriveling. So I'll get rid of Hypnotic Gaze and Shriveling. And that is it for that. I think that's only for the phase. Well, there's a new phase. That's the second card I just drew. That's the second. That's the first. This is not the first. Now I got to do 2 card types. So that was the second time I drew that in a row. No enemies, but I'm not getting much of anything. All right. So I'll return. So I got to get a clue. So it is a 2 on a 3. 2 on a 3. So 3 on 2. That missed. That's a 1. So that missed. Second act. Yeah, someone's always upset. I know. Do it again. 3 on 2. And that's a -1, but we don't fail. If you fail, search the encounter deck, discard pile in the void for hunting horror, and spawn at your location. But we don't fail. That's a means that one. We will get the clue. And we get a victory point for that. I'll mark that somewhere. A victory point. So 1 victory point. That was the third. And the third act, we will move back in the museum halls. That was the third act. All right. Game's kicking this scenario is kicking my butt, Phoenix. How? Okay. All right. So no enemies. Reset. Draw a card. Getting the machete back. Be nice if I can get that out. And gain resource. Actually, nope, can't gain resource. I'm in the museum halls. So no resource. Okay, so another Doom. I'm already at 6. Encounter card. Crypt Chill. Test 4 willpower. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage instead. There's Crypt Chill. So, oh no, the Essex County Express. That's actually one of my the Essex County Express. That's one of my favorite scenarios. The Essex County Express is one of my favorite scenarios. Actually, I loved playing that. I played it more than once. Once, a couple of times as standalone. I love the Essex County Express. It's one of my favorite ones. But the first time I'll be using this guy. All right. So I got to test willpower. So willpower is a 4. And I got drawn to the flame. Gain resources in the museum halls. I know. Oh, I can get on the museum halls, not the musicians. Okay, that's right. So get back there. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to use drawn to the flame. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So 5 on 4 Crypt Chill. We succeed. It's a -1. All right, so nothing happens there. But I am running out of time already, and I haven't even gotten to the next ones. Okay, so back to him. We're going to use 3 resources to put out the machete. Absolutely. Second, spend the clue. Another exhibit hall. And third act, move into it. Hall of the Dead, forced. After you fail a skill test while investigating this location, take 2 horror and 2 clues. Go on. All right. So doesn't look good for me here in this one here, I think. We play on. So exhibit hall is 2. I don't mind failing. It's part of the game. You're not going to win. You're not going to win every single scenario, and you really don't. And sometimes you really don't have to. So exhibit hall, Hall of the Dead. All right. Reset. Draw a card. Getting Peter Sylvester. Gain a resource. All right. The agenda advances. That is 7. Not do very well in this. The creature does not relent, pursuing you throughout the museum. If hunting horror is in play, add 1 doom to it. If hunting horror is not in play, search the encounter deck, discard pile in the void for hunting horror, and spawn it in the museum halls if able. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So hunting horror is back into the museum halls. And of course, this gets reshuffled back into the encounter deck. right. Advance to Agenda 3A. In every shadow, the creature in the museum grows larger and more terrifying with each passing moment. Its body slithers from shadow to shadow. Every corner of every room, a potential hiding place for the hideous beast. Forced, when hunting horror enters play, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawn to it, or add one resource to Shadow Spawn if it is already attached. All right, so once again, I got to deal with the hunting horror. It's in the museum halls. I'm in the exhibit hall here, so let's see what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do here. So I got to get these clues, obviously, and that is a 3 shroud. That's not good. I'm gonna let the hunting horror come to me. I'm gonna draw 3 cards. I'm gonna draw 3 cards. I'm gonna let the hunting horror come to me. I gotta draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I'll draw 3 cards. Because I gotta have some 1, 2, 3. I got plenty of resources. I'm gonna draw 3 cards. Hypnotic Gaze, Drawn to the Flame, and Flashlight. That's what I need. Okay. Enemies will move. So hunting horror moves to the exhibit hall where I'm at. So it engages with me. Doesn't attack, it just engages. So there. We will draw a card. Getting Dr. Milan Christopher. And a resource. Okay, so Doom on the agenda. Draw encounter card. Cursed Luck. First Cursed Luck into play in your threat area. Get -1 skill value during skill tests. Average succeeded a skill test by 1 or more. Discard Cursed Luck. That sucks. All right. So Cursed Luck is now in the play area. I got to deal with the hunting horror first. Okay. Hunting horror does what? 1 attack and 1. All right. So let's attack with. We're going to go attack with a machete. So 3 + 1 is 4 on 2. But it's -1 because of Cursed Luck. So it's a 3 on 2 on the hunting horror. We hit it. We succeed for 2. We hit it for 2 damage. After we succeeded a skill test by 1 or more, which we did, discard it, because that was 3 on 2. So that goes away. And now we attack it again, but now it is 4 on 2. And that gets rid of it. Back in the void it goes. So third act. I'm going to put out the flashlight. Put the 3 charges on it. Put the flashlight out. All right. So, no enemies, reset. Draw a card, but I'm running out of cards. Perception. And gain resource. I don't think I'm going to get it because this Beyond the Veil is about to kick my ass. Because I only have 4 more cards left in the deck, Phoenix. All right, so Doom goes on the threshold. Counter card. And Cursed Luck comes back. All right, fine. Okay, so I'm going to remove these exhibit halls out of the way. I really don't think I'm going to need. I'll just put them up here so I can get some room here. All right. So, Cursed Luck comes back. Yep, that's my luck. All right. So we got to go after the security office. So I have to go after here. You're just waiting for another tentacle visions of the past to finish you off. Yeah, I know, right? So all right, so I got to get those clues. So it is 3 with a flashlight minus 2. So that makes that a 1. Makes it a 1. But I got a minus 1 here. So that's going to be a 2 on 1. And we're going to use perception to make that a 4 on 1. And minus 2, return one of your clues to your location. I don't have any, but it does succeed. So that succeeds, and that gets rid of cursed luck. That is 1 or more, and I get a card. Getting Alyssa Graham. And perception goes away. All right. So we actually do get a clue. Now it says return one of your clues to your current location. But I didn't have a clue to the return of location, but I still succeeded. So if I'm correct, I get this clue. Or do I get the clue and then I drop it? It says minus 2, return one of your clues to your location. But I didn't have any clues. So if I read that right, I get the clue because I did not already have a clue on me. So that was the first act. Second action. And after you fail a skill test while investigating this location, take a horror. We didn't fail it. So I did use a flashlight. So let's do it again. Take the flashlight again. So it's going to be 3. It's going to be 3 on 1. Yeah. So 3 on 1. We succeed. We get the clue. And we get a victory point. The third act, we'll move back into the museum halls. I want to move that out the way. I don't think I'll be heading back there again. All right. So what I will do, however, is I will put them like that. Okay. All right. So we're back in museum halls. And that's it. No enemies. Reset. Draw another card. Shriveling. Get a resource. We now have 10. And that is it. So, Doom. Encounter card. Passage into the Veil. Test 3 willpower. If you fail, you must either choose 1, discard the top 5 cards of your deck, or take 1 direct damage and deal 1 damage to each of your ally assemblies. So test 3 willpower. We have a 4. And I'm going to, I forgot I could use Drawn to the Flame, but I'm going to use Drawn to the Flame. That's going to be a 5. So it's going to be a 5 on 3, and we succeed. So no, nothing happens. The skull is a 0 while I have Culver. All right, so oh boy. Well, I don't think we're going to get this, but let's see what we get here. So we have to use the clues. I have to spend the money on the clues. So I'll spend two actions for 2 clues. For the other 2 exhibit halls. And the third act, we're going to move into this one. And hopefully this is it. And it is not. Egyptian exhibit. After you fail a skill test while investigating this location, lose an action. There are 2 clues there, but I don't have time to take those clues. So no enemies, reset. Draw a card, getting ritual candles, and gain resource. We're going to lose this game. We're going to lose the game because I only have one card left, and that's going to activate Beyond the Veil. We're not going to get anywhere, but let's finish it off anyway. So I may resign. I may have to resign. I may have to resign here. And that's what I'm going to wind up doing. So, okay. So we got that. So it is one doom goes on the look. So one doom, draw a card. Slithering behind you. If hunting horror is not in play, search encounter, get discard pile in the void for hunting horror and spawn it at your location, engage with you. So the hunting horror is back in the exhibit hall. So I'm back with it. But I think I'm going to wind up resigning. So, all right. I only got one card left. So I think it's better if we resign instead of just being kicked out. So I think that's what we're going to wind up doing here. So investigation phase. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to wind up doing. So I'm going to leave the exhibit hall. It gets an attack of opportunity. 1 horror, 1 damage. Move into the museum entrance. And third act, we resign. And we're out. We resign. There's no way I can beat it because I'm about to get killed by Beyond the Veil. If no resolution was reached, each investigator resigned, was defeated. Wherever the creature in the museum was, you had neither the will nor the tools to destroy it. It seems you must give up any hope of recovering the Necronomicon. Even so, there are others depending on you. Gathering your courage, you prepare for your next task. In your campaign, record the investigators failed to recover the Necronomicon. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. So we could not get the Necronomicon, but we do get 2 experience points, but that is it. The reason why I decided to resign was I was down to 1 card left in this. And once this becomes 0, Beyond the Veil forced. If your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage and discard Beyond the Veil. 10 damage will kill me. 7, even with Henry Armitage, that kills me. So I didn't find avoiding trauma, totally legit reason to resign. So that was the right thing. So the Miskatonic Museum is a resignation, but that's okay. That's why you play this game. Just because you lose, the one thing about Arkham Horror, just because you maybe lose a scenario, it doesn't mean you're dead or you're over or it's over. You can just continue to play on to the next round, and that's what we're going to do. For the next scenario, which I'll probably play maybe Saturday night, we'll see, is scenario 3, the Essex County Express. And this scenario is actually one of my favorite ones, not just in the Dunwich Horror, but pretty much all of them. I love the Essex County Express. It's one of my favorites. But it's the first time I'll be utilizing Jim Culver. So it could be a little different. It could be a little different. So Miskatonic Museum ends up as a resignation. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Phoenix Knight, David Vega, Modine. Yes, it is a great game. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please leave a like on your way out of the movie theater. Subscribe if you're not done so. Make sure you hit the bell. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong. And what I'll play tomorrow night, don't know yet. It may have something to do with baseball or something. We'll see. Catch you guys later.